if you have bad code and bad, plugins, bad themes,
Yeah.
like even a host can't fix that. Like you can have a blazing fast server and a
Yeah,
horrible theme and it's
I use
still
the
going to be
word
slow.
bloat in your intro, so I know exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
bloated.
From selling PCs on eBay in middle school to transforming WordPress plugin performance, that's the remarkable arc of today's guest. Welcome to WP Legends. I'm Gautam, co-founder of Seahawk Media. Joining me today is Brian Jackson, co-founder of Forge Media and the creator of Perf Matters and NovaShare. Two minimalist yet powerful WordPress plugins built with speed and user-first thinking at their core. Brian started in IT and marketing, even launching his own hosting company while still in high school. He later became CMO at Kinsta, where he produced content that helped the brand explode via SEO and saw performance bottlenecks firsthand. That led him and his brother to build Perf Matters, a no nonsense tool to disable bloat, defer scripts, and fine tune sites for core web vitals. They later built NovaShare, a fast social sharing platform that values performance as much as their features. Brian's passion also shines through his blog where he shares deep dive marketing, WordPress, and product insights, often put from years of real world client support and dev experience. Today, we'll explore how Brian identified the performance gap in WordPress, bootstrap Forge Media into a thriving micro business, and what he sees ahead for optimization in the WooCommerce and AI era. Brian, welcome to WP Legends. Let's rewind to the days of Kinsta.
Yeah, yeah. Thanks for having me.
Pleasure. So yeah,
Um,
let's go back.
so
Let's go back. Kinsta, before Kinsta, maybe just before Kinsta. How did it
yeah,
all?
before Kinsta, yeah. So before Kinsta, I was IT
Hmm.
doing. I was at a health insurance company here in Scottsdale, Arizona. Kind of hated my job. It was the whole, dress up, tie, cubicle,
Wow.
very corporate, thing. And so
Severance.
like,
You're talking about severance kind of a thing.
yeah, yeah. Actually, yeah, exactly that. Like literally going there. I wish I could forget going up the elevator every time. Um, but yeah, it was that type of thing. And I couldn't see myself doing that like, for the rest of my life. Like I hated it to be honest. Even though I loved IT, like the work itself was fine. But um, so while I was there, I'd always use WordPress throughout my even high school, college. I was always blogging, writing. And so I was always using WordPress in the evenings, even just as a hobby. And so I was like, well, maybe I can just let's get into more marketing and WordPress related things. And so I hooked up with a company called KeyCDN, which is a content delivery network.
Right.
And for some reason, I don't remember why now that they decided to hire me. I didn't have much experience like working for in the WordPress ecosystem. I had a
Okay.
lot of blog experience, and I think they hired me based off my writing and my blog. Um, and so I hooked up with them, started writing about performance in the WordPress space
Hmm.
for KeyCN. And they handle all different platforms, so wasn't just WordPress. It was like Laravel, all these other platforms too. Um, but once I started working there, I fell in love with just, sitting at home, writing all day, and, engulfed in that type of stuff. And after 1 or 2 years there, I was like, okay, I like WordPress. So I want to focus just on WordPress and no other platforms. So then I kind of got involved. I was hosting at WP Engine myself at the time. And
Okay.
this was before all these other managed hosts. Like WP Engine was pretty much one of the only ones at the time. Them and Pagely, I think.
Yep.
And
Good. Yeah.
Kinsta
Now owned
had,
by GoDaddy. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, Kinsta had just launched. They were like a small 6, 7 person team. And since I was obsessed with performance, I kind of just found them and I was like, okay, I'm going to try these guys right away and see what they're like. Um, and I did, and I fell in love with them. And then I hooked up with their CEO on Skype, and he was still doing like Skype calls at the time. It was so small. Um, and we kind of just clicked right off the bat, and they hired me to do writing essentially was my first job with them to do SEO and writing.
SEO and writing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And because they kind of wanted to just see like there's a big gap in the market at the time for content in the
Mhm.
WordPress space. And so they saw that and I saw that. And so we kind of connected and things kind of just blew up from there. And like, yeah, I was nonstop from there all the way till when I left Kinsta when they were like a little over 100 employees. So it was, yeah, just a crazy ride.
That's unbelievable. So tell me something. how did you suddenly decided one day wake up, okay, I'm done with this. I'm done with this non-cubicle job. Let's make a plugin company.
So that, yeah, that formed while I was kind of at Kinsta.
I
So even though Kinsta focused on performance and always kind of has,
I know.
um,
It's a good company. It's a great
they,
company. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, they a host can only fix so much. Like if you have bad code and bad, plugins, bad themes,
Yeah.
like even a host can't fix that. Like you can have a blazing fast server and a
Yeah,
horrible theme, and it's
I use
still
the
going to be
word
slow.
bloat in your intro, so I know exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
bloated.
yeah.
Yeah. So I kind of when I was first working at Kinsta, even I was helping with some tickets here and there. Like it was just all over the place.
Of course, of
And
course.
so I kept running into clients that, were just still struggling, even with a fast host. Like we couldn't fix everything. And so we kind of, my brother and I, at the time, we had this other plugin for fun called WP Coupons, which we have now sold to someone else.
Okay.
And so we had kind of done a plugin before, like, so we knew kind of, how to launch one, how to like, package it together. But we're like, why don't we do something with WordPress, like just getting rid of all the bloat? Like, if you don't need emojis on your site, if you don't need all these revisions on your site, like, let's just create a plugin to get rid of some of these easy things from core, WordPress core, and just turn
Smart.
them off.
Yeah. Mhm.
And so we started going down that rabbit hole, and I was giving out for free at first. Like it's just like, here's a zip, take it, hope it helps.
Market testing, getting feedback.
Kind of, yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, we
yeah,
didn't have any plans to sell it when we first started. It was more like helping me at Kinsta, just like, here you go, this
of
will help
course,
too.
of
Um,
course.
but after a while, we saw like, okay, I think we're seeing a lot of people like this is helping a lot of folks. So we decided to put a price tag on it and kind of start selling it, and kind of just took off from there. And kind of how I transitioned was Kinsta grew so fast that I actually kind of got burnt out, doing so many hours, and probably we maybe had grew the marketing team the wrong way, I would say,
Mm,
maybe like not hiring fast enough for marketing and focused more on engineering.
mm.
And even my bosses that, like they were willing to like put me back into like kind of what I love doing was writing instead of management. But at that time I was just like, I got to step away. Health wise, it was a better decision for me. And
Yeah,
so
yeah. Work-life balance, I think, is very important in many, many ways.
yeah,
And
it is.
especially because you have done 5 to 10 years work before. It's not like you're just starting out on your journey, you know?
Exactly. Yeah.
Otherwise, what I've heard, I've never experienced it, knock on the wood, but I've heard from a lot of people, one day a burnout will happen or you'll just fall on the floor. Like I'm yet to experience something like that, but
Yeah.
I'm already scared because I have so many friends, and especially in the WordPress ecosystem already, talking about that all the time. So I
Yeah.
I hear you.
And when I joined Kinst, I mean, it was a startup, and it was, like we were all
Wow.
grinding so many hours just to
Yeah,
create
you just
something.
mentioned you've
So,
seen the 5 people, 200 people, and you were part of the core team and you learned a lot because of all of
oh
that.
yeah. Yeah.
You owe a lot of your success because of that, specifically the CMO role at Consent.
100%. Yeah.
Oh,
Yep.
wow.
Yeah. Learned so much. And then, so I've taken everything I've learned there kind of and applied, what does and doesn't work to our own business here. And
Yeah.
so, um, I started this with my brother, and like we're 50-50 partners at Forge Media. And so it's just the two of us. And we like to keep it small because I've seen, the things that come with growing a team,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
all the work that comes with that. And so we've decided to like purposely stay kind of small for right now.
So is that one of the reasons that you don't offer the freemium version of it and you want to make sure that you have world-class
Yeah,
support for paying customers?
that's definitely one of the reasons. And just over the years, I've seen the downfalls to some of the freemium stuff. Like even myself, I use plugins just like everybody else.
Yeah.
Um, and the support for the free stuff is just horrible.
Mhm.
And main reason is because, they're obviously focused on their premium version. I mean,
Forums, Twitter, whatever the case
yeah.
might be,
And
people have to
so
go through it. Yeah.
we just didn't want to create like a substandard version and a better version. So we're just like, let's just put all of our effort into the premium versions. Like if you're a paying customer, we'll do everything we can to help you. We like that model better rather
I
than
see.
the free version.
So perf matters. Tell me something like, and obviously, like after this call, podcast over, my team and I are going to reach out. We would love to experiment it and go through deep dive through both of the plugins. But tell me something. Perf matters is all about disabling the unnecessary assets. Is that correct? Like just
Yeah.
disable. So how does the plugin prioritize, or what does it like? Explain to us. Like how does it work? The
So
disabling
I
part,
guess
because you can disable some important stuff also. That's why.
yeah, yeah, and you can break your site. I mean, as with any optimization plugin, you
Yes,
can,
of
break
course,
your site,
of
obviously.
course.
And when I say break, it's more like a visual thing. We don't like the white screen of death is kind of the old days of WordPress. Like that really doesn't happen anymore with
Mm,
optimization plugins, but you can definitely like mess up visually your site. And so I think there's probably three different things we focus on. So there's these quick toggles. That's the first
okay,
one.
okay.
And that's like if you have like emojis or
Mm,
WordPress fetch, which they don't do very well in core right now, that's kind of technical, but like all these little things that like it's just like I want to turn it off type of thing.
I see.
So we focus on these quick toggles. Then the second part is our script manager, and that can get quite technical, but it's as much as you want to dive into it, but basically you can turn plugins on or off or
Mm.
scripts on or off where they shouldn't be loading. So there are still plugins that load their scripts just the on your entire site, regardless of if it's running there or not. And still, even today, that's happening. So we built the script manager to say like, if it's not running here, turn it off here, basically. Type
So
of thing.
that's how it's kind of what I understand is, and I know WP Rockets and NitroPack and all other plugins like so. That's how it is kind of different than these plugins. Would you say in some way?
Yeah, so they focused on, and that's the third part I was going to go into is kind of how we're similar with them. But the script manager is one thing that like Rocket doesn't do, and I don't think they will ever do because you can obviously cause havoc on your site if you just
Yes,
go
I
disable
know.
everything.
Yes.
And so I think, Rocket has a very broad user base, so they're focused more on, I guess you could say, automating things that won't break your
Yeah,
site.
install and forget, kind of.
Yeah, type
Yeah,
of thing. And so we've always focused on the more niche, like squeeze out as much performance as you can. But with that comes, potential things that you can break because it's more advanced type of stuff.
ideally so what I'm understanding is like maybe like 90% of your clients would be agencies or somebody with some experience of WordPress, would you say?
Um, yeah, although we get a lot of beginners too. So I
Of
mean,
course, of
even
course.
but obviously those people reach out a lot more for help. So yeah, I mean, our ideal client is an agency, and a lot of times we'll never hear from them because they have a developer or devs already that kind of understand what they need to do, type of thing.
I see. I
Um,
see. That's a good
and
move. So who's handling the support tickets now?
me and my brother, yeah, we do
Oh
all the
wow.
support.
Oh
Um,
wow. You were
always,
not kidding about the
yeah,
lean team.
yeah. No, I wasn't lying about the lean team, and we have a very kind of a good workflow set up. So we
Mhm.
try to automate everything we can. And our ticketing system is we've fine-tuned that pretty well at this point. Um, but the reason we did that is because during my days at Kinsta, our big thing at the start was, focus on high priority support.
Okay.
And I just saw that like it worked really, really well. I think it's one reason why Kinsta was successful is because we focused on hiring like developers and
Mhm.
engineers as the support agents instead of just, like tier one agents that like don't
I
know
know.
very much or that are reading from scripts and
Who
type
can
of
actually
stuff.
go into
So
a WordPress site, try to figure out if they can sort things out or inform
yeah,
the customer at least, like do this,
yeah,
we won't touch it. We do this and it should resolve or something like that. Something
yeah,
simple.
exactly. And so I took that from Kinsta and said, I want to do support ourselves in house. Down the road, we might end up hiring someone too, but who knows? But right now we want to do support in house because Brett and we both the plugin obviously, so we know it better than anybody else, and so we can do tickets very, very fast since we wrote all the code that's
Course.
powering the plugin.
You know how to reply as quickly as possible. Of
Yeah.
course, any query irrespective. So let's shift gears to NovaShare. It's lightweight yet robust. So how did that happen after Perf Market?
Yeah, and that kind of just took off because I've always had social sharing plugins on my own sites, like our workup log, always used a social sharing plugin. And at the time, I was frustrated with the ones that were out there because they didn't care about performance at all. For what a social plugin is very simple, to be honest. For most of it, you just need to be able to share to Twitter, and that's it.
Yeah.
Or X, I guess you can
Yeah,
say now.
not too much, not too much. Yeah, too wet.
Yeah. Now you can get into like the nitty gritty. We do a lot of stuff for Pinterest bloggers, which is a whole nother like there's a whole ecosystem of Pinterest bloggers out there, which is crazy. But um, for the most part, I wasn't satisfied with the performance of any solution out there. And so we decided to, package up one ourselves and build it, build one that was focused with performance from day one, basically. And so is what we've done. And, ours is as small as you can possibly get a social sharing plugin.
Amazing, unbelievable. So is Perf Matters right now? Obviously, you got the maximum number of customers spread out all over the world. You would say more than Novashare.
Yeah. Perf Matters is primary our business at the moment. And NovaShare is, a lot smaller, but it's still, it's still a good source of income for us, but it's yeah, nowhere near as big as Perf Matter. And I think it's just a smaller niche. Everybody's trying to speed up their sites, but not everybody's maybe doing social sharing plugin
I
stuff.
see. So what's the biggest ongoing speed bottleneck which you are seeing? I think you are one of the best persons to answer that, considering Google Core Web Vitals, or
Yeah.
considering hosting, shared hosting, managed hosting, VPS hosting. What's the biggest
Yeah.
blockers which you're seeing? The tickets maybe you're
I
seeing.
think the biggest blocker is probably, and this is kind of technical, but it's largest contentful paint, which is one
LCP.
of the
Yeah, yeah,
core
yeah.
web vitals
Mhm.
metrics, and everybody struggles with that. And so I think a big thing we're focused on is like preloading. So like preloading things above the fold, like your featured image. Google
Mhm.
basically, wants your stuff above the fold at the top to load first, essentially.
Yes. Yes.
And themes and plugins they're not built like that. Like a theme, like say, even say GeneratePress, which is great for performance, they
Yep.
don't care about, where the image loads in the order. And like things just aren't
Good
built that
point.
way in
Good
WordPress. And
point.
so
Good point.
optimization plugins, like Perf Matters or, Rocket or any of these other ones, like they're focused on like how can we take, themes and like prioritize where things are loading. Um,
I agree.
so we're
I
really focused on LCP at the moment. But hosting is still a big one, man. I refer people to host all the time, not just Kinsta. I like what Rocket.net's doing. Big Scoots, there's a couple other
Yeah,
great
yeah,
ones.
yeah.
I like
I
what they're
meet them
doing.
at I meet all of them at WordCamp, so like I know
Yeah.
every single host. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I have a couple, hosts out, probably about five or so hosts that I like to just, say, hey, go check these hosts out, make up your own mind. Most of them have trials. So, I say, try them out before you,
Very true.
migrate everything.
Very true.
Um, but host is still a big one. Even today, like there's so many crappy shared hosting providers out there. I'm not going to name drop any bad ones, but like I'm sure people have dealt with bad ones over the
We
years
deal
too
with them all
themselves.
the day. My developers
Yeah.
struggle with it so much. So I
Um,
remember, I think 2 weeks ago, somebody came to us with an 8,000 product WooCommerce store on a shared hosting. Can you imagine?
oh
And
man, yeah.
can you imagine what we had to do? It was a good opportunity for us because we were able to migrate them out,
Oh
upsell them
yeah.
a lot of things, of course. But which leads me to another question with respect to WooCommerce, because WooCommerce remains a performance challenge always, like always, always, always. Okay.
Yep.
So what strategies or maybe like any upcoming features, in Perf addresses those e-commerce pain points? What do you say? Or is it like part of your build, part of Perf by default?
It's kind of been part of our bill. I mean, we have a couple quick toggles regarding Perf Matter or WooCommerce in there. But we do have some feature requests that are coming down the pipe for WooCommerce. I won't say exactly when they're coming or what they are.
That's okay.
But we have had some clients, reach out like, can we fix this with WooCommerce? Fix this. So like, there are a couple things we are focused on with WooCommerce at the moment.
All right.
And that's a big one because I would say, probably. mm, I would say a good 20 to 30% of our clients are running WooCommerce. So it's a
Oh, wow.
big,
That's a good number.
it's a lot. Yeah, it's a big number of our clients that are running WooCommerce.
I have less than 5% WooCommerce customers. I don't know why. Because maybe we build
Oh,
websites.
really?
That's why.
Yeah, that could be. Yeah, we have a lot of WooCommerce clients. So,
The funny thing is, and I was speaking about this in one of my previous podcasts also. Like I was helping a buddy of mine. He's launching an e-commerce store with clothes and stuff like that, hoodies and t-shirts. And I live in the UK, and he was just doing some research. And he said like I came across 400 competitors of my competitors when I launched the store. Out of 400 websites, literally five were on WooCommerce, 395 were on Shopify. I was like,
wow.
what the hell? And he was like, maybe. And I was like, maybe because the Gen Zs, the millennial, or like very early millennials, they're thinking that maybe it's cheaper or just easier. I think WordPress needs to become easier. And this is what I was
Yeah.
discussing with somebody else the other day also. And I think that is one thing which, I think should be in WordPress roadmap. Don't you agree? When it comes to core?
Yeah, 100%. And even close friends, that reach out, this is thing like I never like doing IT support for friends or family. It's
Oh,
the one thing
no, I know.
you want to stay away from. But like whenever friends, like younger friends reach out, like I honestly sometimes send them to Shopify. Like I'm not gonna lie. And
Hmm.
it's because or WordPress and WooCommerce both need to be a lot easier to use. Like now if it's someone I know that can handle it, I'll tell them,
Do
go
this,
down the
do this, do this.
WordPress
Yeah,
rabbit hole. But if it's someone that's just like launching this a non-technical person launching a store for like his grandmother or something, which I've done, I won't send them to WordPress. It's just I know I'm going to be getting calls and calls and texts about stuff later. And so it's like Shopify is a lot easier to be honest. And I know why people go down that route. And like you said, it's a very Gen Z thing. If I was a younger person, Shopify is like a set it and forget it type of thing.
I
Um,
agree. I agree.
and so it's a very WooCommerce definitely and WordPress core
I
needs to
brought about
get
this
easier
topic. I
and
brought
easier.
about this topic because I ask everybody,
Yep.
and I think I kind of know your answer already. That where do you think WordPress is going in 5 years, not 2 or 10, just five? Of course, your whole business and is around WordPress, so I know you were kind
Yep.
of bullish. But 5 years, where
Yep.
do you think it's going? Your
Well,
words,
so I'm always trying the new AI, stuff.
of course. Yeah.
And even some of that stuff scares me. I mean, I'm not that old, but even like we have the Waymo cars here in Scottsdale and Phoenix that
Hmm.
are driving, with
Hmm.
no drivers. And I'm driving past them. They're a lot now, and am driving past them all the time, like in traffic, and like those things scare the crap out of me because, um, like that there's no one, driving it, and so like I'm like just being tech wise, I was like, this thing can still make mistakes, even though it's probably safer than a real human at this point, to be honest.
Hmm.
Um, but I'm always trying AI stuff, and I tried the WordPress team launched their AI builder. I think it
Yeah, yeah,
was it
yeah.
a couple months back,
Elementor AI is
and
very, very good. For example, yeah, and I know.
yeah,
It's great.
and so I gave it a spin, and I built a whole site in like 5 minutes, and I was like, wow, this is really easy. Like I could see where it's going. Now, I probably wouldn't personally use it because it's probably creating a whole bunch of crappy code that I don't want or I'm trying to then
Yeah,
clean up
you're
later.
you're way advanced
Yeah. Yeah,
with respect to
I'm
speed optimization and stuff like that.
yeah. But for like a new person starting out, it's kind of like getting closer to like the Shopify thing where like you just say like I want a store that's selling like, you know, this type of product. Like build it for me in 5 minutes and just do it. Like
So
it is I think AI is going to help dumb down WordPress and get it easier to use for a lot of beginners. Now, hopefully that doesn't create other problems. Like is it then slow because of all the AI slop and stuff? I don't know, but I think AI is definitely going to help make WordPress easier for folks going
I think
forward.
I think I think you're absolutely right. The reason I speak about this topic is because of the framers and the Doras and other new companies coming up, and
Yeah,
everybody's coming with the AI, Squarespace, Wix, Lovable. Everybody's just talking about only
yep,
Lovable over the
mm,
past week. I
yeah,
wish there was a way that Lovable and WordPress they can marry each other somehow. Can you
yeah,
imagine that 43% of the internet will suddenly become 90% of the internet? Think about
yeah,
it.
yep,
But I think SEO wise, WordPress is the king. I don't think it's very difficult to beat when it comes to SEO. And you are a SEO person, so you
yep,
understand that really well, which leads me to the next question. You understand SEO really well. You've seen the landscape being changing, especially over the past 6 months to 12 months kind of a thing. So when it comes to speed is a very crucial element when it comes to SEO. I know it for a fact. I know it because if the
hmm
website doesn't load fast, then no matter how good your SEO is, no matter how unique your content is, no matter how interesting your article is, even if it's 10,000 words, it doesn't matter if it can't load or it doesn't load in the requisite time. So have you considered all of that in your future releases, or is anything interesting coming up with that way with respect to SEO?
um, yeah, we have. I mean, we're always fine tuning things to squeeze out as much performance as possible. And we do have a new feature we're working on. We've been working on it all summer, and I can't say what it is yet, but
Okay,
for
that's
everyone,
fine.
stay tuned. It's one of the biggest things we've launched in years.
Okay,
And so we're really excited about it, but it's definitely going to help fine tune things even further
okay,
for SEO. And AI, I will say we don't have any AI things in the works at the moment. But it's definitely something I'm always testing new AI tools. I use Grok all the time myself, ChatGPT.
yeah.
Um, Even for my newsletter stuff, I'm creating some of the images now with AI. It's just I think anywhere you can. speed up your workflows, you definitely should be with AI.
What?
I will say though, you should be careful creating all your content with AI still, like
Oh, no,
for
no, I am with
folks
you. I
out
am with
there.
you 100%,
So
100%. I know ChatGPT with deep research and Google Gemini with deep research can, you know, come up with absolutely fabulous articles, but you still need to review it, read it, just in case.
yeah.
There's a disclaimer now in Gemini, and we could be wrong. We could be wrong.
Yeah,
Be careful.
exactly. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I think we went so fast that now we're going like go back just a little bit, adding warnings. There
I
could be
know
problems here.
even if you were to rinse through like, Jasper or Surfer or whatever the case might be, still you have
Yep.
to, even the humanizers, like I'm not confident with the humanizers now anymore at all. So
Yeah. And
you're
even
right.
I use, if it's late at late at night and I'm writing a doc or something and I don't like something I wrote, like even I will sometimes run it through a tool and have it rewrite it for me and be like, wow, I like that better, and then tweak a few things and go from there. Like even it's even helping me with my content. So definitely
Yeah.
say take advantage of it where you can though. So,
I was just discussing with somebody the other day, like the kind of things which are happening when it comes to search engine optimization, especially in the last 6 months, have not happened in the past 12 years. If you think about it, 12 or
yeah.
13 years, it's unbelievable. Ahrefs and SCM now shows you, this is your score for ChatGPT or
Yep.
Perplexity. And they're charging us $1,000 a month extra. Like why? What? It's
Yeah.
unbelievable.
I was looking at the um Ahrefs
HRF.
things the other
Yeah.
day, the new AI stuff, and
They want
yeah,
money. They want a lot of extra money, not even a little bit.
yeah,
It's not like $50 a month. I'm already paying them
yeah,
hundreds of dollars, like $1,000 a month, maybe, or between both these tools and Surfer, maybe even more. Like, come on.
yep. No, I know. I think I'm grandfathered into like one of the lower plans, and like for me, I was like, well, I guess I won't be using that new feature because no, I'm not leaving my plan. But yeah, I think yeah, the landscape has changed so much, and even I had a food niche blog that I sold like, about was it 1 or 2 years back.
Right?
It was about eating gluten free because I have a medical thing where I have to eat gluten free, and so I've been gluten free for like a decade now, and
Wow.
so that's something I was kind of passionate about, and I launched a blog and kind of monetized it and had that going. But I sold it about 1 or 2 years back because I saw where AI was going, and being so busy with our business, not having the time to work on that site anymore, I knew AI was going to eat it alive if I didn't spend time
How
on
are you
it.
how are you
So
selling how are you selling these things? Please tell me. Please educate
yeah,
me and my listeners. How are you selling these things? First tell me that.
well, it's probably called not sleeping enough. Probably is what it is. Um, and personally, I don't have a family myself. My brother is married with kids, and so my schedule obviously revolves around his family schedule. um, so, um, but
No,
I
I
guess
hear
that
you.
helps too. So it,
Oh, listen. My co-founder Ryan, he's 10 years younger than me. He's bachelor. He's a dog dad now. I have a wife. I have a dog. I have a baby. Okay, she's 17 months. So yes.
oh
So
wow, yeah. So you know how it
but
goes.
but he's another story. You'll meet him someday, and but we both. So here's the thing about I use this. I can actually wear a t-shirt about this. Okay, I am a proud, happy, compulsive workaholic, and so is he. Okay, our work-life balance is maybe watching a Netflix show and having a laptop on. Okay, or me maybe is like taking my wife and sorry, my not my wife. My wife can stay wherever she wants. Okay, my daughter and my dog like to the park and just rewind for 45 minutes and just come back on my laptop. So that's how I kind of like tweaked work-life balance. And I think work from home has enabled us
Yep.
all to do that, especially after a post-COVID era. I think so. You
Oh
know,
yeah, for sure. Yeah,
yeah.
one thing I do, which I've done since I left Kinsta, which has helped me a lot, is I shut my computer and phone off on Saturdays. So I'm not on any technology other than sometimes I'm binging, Netflix or something. But that's more relaxing type of thing. But I'm not, I don't look at my computer. I don't look at my phone for a whole, 24 hours.
I think I'm going
And
to do that at least once a month to begin with. I think
yeah,
I'm
I've done that
dying to.
religiously, and it's
All right.
been, I don't know if I could have survived without doing it. So I've just kept it up, doing that now, and it's kind of a normal habit. So yeah, that's one thing that's helped me.
A weekly might be tough for me, no matter what I try. But once in a month,
It's hard. Yeah, it's hard to get.
I think it's going to happen. I need to do it, and it's going to be necessary now because your whole day on your phone or laptop or whatever is just too much. It's just too much.
Yep.
Your hand hurts sometimes because of your iPhone, or whatever, in
Yeah.
your hand. By the way, what
Yep.
coffee are you drinking? What coffee are you drinking?
Oh, just Starbucks.
Yeah, I make my filter. So like I'm gonna most likely change the name of my podcast to like coffee and filter coffee or whatever with Gotham or something like that.
Yeah, I
But
wish I was a black coffee. I mean, this is an almond milk latte.
yeah,
But
yeah.
I wish I could drink coffee black straight, but man, I can't do it.
It's an evolution. It's an evolution like WordPress core, kind of.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you excited about WordPress core now? You think things are moving in the right direction than what it was 3 years ago, 4 years ago? Would you say that?
Uh, I'm still not sure. So I like what the performance team is doing.
All right.
They've been doing a lot of things lately as far as
Approvals are
like,
faster. Approvals are faster. Updates are faster.
yeah. And they launched like speculative loading. I don't know if you kept up with any of that stuff.
No, please tell
So
me.
that's more of a technical thing. It kind of like preloads things as you navigate around a page.
All right.
So they launched that like was it like 3 or 4 months ago, and then before that they launched Fetch, which is basically a type of way to help things prioritize your LCP. So there's a couple guys on the performance team that are really focused, I think, on core
On
web
speed.
vitals and on doing
Yeah,
everything they can. The thing with WordPress though is it's so big that they have to be super careful, about whatever they
that's
launch
true.
because it
Yeah,
can't break anything. Whereas we can be we can kind of do it's wild wild west for us still type of thing. Like
that's
we're so
true.
small that
Good
like if
point.
we want to launch something in beta, like we're gonna do it and try it and see what happens.
That's
Um,
true.
but they can't do that. So, but I think that team is doing a really good job. I still don't know though about I love blocks for building.
Hmm.
I hate blocks for writing. Like I'm not using the classic editor anymore on any of my sites, but I do miss the free flow
Yeah,
form of the classic editor for write.
yeah.
I just don't like writing with blocks.
Okay. Yeah, everybody has
And
preferences. Everybody has preferences for sure.
yeah, and so I'll end up usually writing my blog posts in another tool on my Mac,
Hmm.
not in WordPress, and then kind of just paste it over
Copy,
there and
copy, paste
move it.
or move it over
Yeah,
there.
but yeah, I do like it for building though. I think blocks make sense if you think about how things are. It's making more sense now, but I don't know if it's confusing people more or not. I don't.
It depends. I
It's
speak with agency
it's hard.
owners every single day, and a lot of founders with from other companies also. Everybody has their preferences of page builders now.
Yeah,
You
that's the
know,
thing. Yeah,
yeah, whoever is a WP bakery diehard lover will not go anywhere. If somebody
exactly.
is hooked to Elementor, they will only use Elementor. Now there's a
Yep.
new one called Breakdance and Bricks, they will not go.
Yep.
If somebody is on Beaver, no matter what happens, they are Beaver loyalists. I think there's room for everybody, just like a coffee.
Yep.
If there's a Starbucks down the road and there are like four other cafes, they will all do well. They will all uh,
Yep.
find customers. They will all find
Yep.
customers. I think it's everybody has their own kind of like whoever likes the brand more, the style, or the way the blocks are moving. You use the blocks. It's
Yep.
kind of like that. I think so.
Yep. No, I'm the same way. And like I like generate press and generate blocks and
I
I
saw it on the
probably won't
footer of your site. I saw it on the footer of your site.
yeah, I probably, I don't have any desire to launch a site using just core,
Yeah.
anytime soon because like you said, like I like using generate press and generate blocks. Like it makes sense to me at this time. And like maybe down the road, 5 years from now, core will be a much better builder, itself with blocks. And maybe we'll be doing, maybe I'll do my own personal site with just core and
Who
nothing
knows?
else.
Who knows what's happening
Um,
in who knows what's happening in
but
5 years? I can't even think 5 years now, to be very honest.
yeah,
I
yeah.
think I think thinking beyond 18 months also so tough with the kind of AI. Every day some new AI tool is coming up. You can't keep up. It's
Oh
impossible.
yeah, it's crazy.
It's
It's
mental.
crazy to think about. I have a nephew and niece, and they're like, was it 2 and 4? I think
Yeah.
I forget the ages, but just to think, and like you have a daughter, you said now, like
Yeah.
just to think, like they're growing up with this stuff, and I'm not sure how old you are, but like I grew up with dial-up,
I'm about to be
and
40 this year. What about you?
okay, so I'm 38, so
Same age,
we
yeah.
grew up same time, going through
Yeah.
no internet to dial-up to the brick cell phones or no cell phones to
Yep.
brick cell phones to
Yep.
cell
Yep.
phones.
Yep.
And so, just to think about what the kids are going to grow up with and like
It's insane.
it's it's insane to think about. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
Sam Altman, Johnny Ive. I'm really excited about what they bring, to the world because I think people are saying that could be the new internet. Who knows? You know?
I think it's going to be crazy different. I mean, hopefully it's I hope we don't end up in like a what's that? There's that sci-fi movie where they're all in trailers
Black
hooked up
Mirror.
with their
Am I talking about the Black Mirror episode by any chance?
No, there's a Black Mirror one that too. I forget what it is, but it's where they're all in trailers and they're all like hooked up in helmets and they're all living in the um
I know which one you're talking about.
they're
Yeah,
all living in the sci-fi world instead of actually in the real world. Like,
yeah.
hopefully we don't end up in that type of reality, but
100%. Anyways, we're
um,
coming up with time. Just a couple of final questions. You mentioned Netflix binging. What are your favorite shows? What are you watching right now?
oh, what am I watching right now? I just finished the latest season of Squid Game.
Oh
I'm a,
yes, of course. We had to watch that. Of course.
I'm a big sci-fi horror buff, and so I love Squid Game. The first season when it came out, man, I was
Unbelievable.
just enthralled.
Unbelievable.
Like,
I,
yeah, couldn't
I
believe it.
love that show. I love that
Um,
show. Yeah.
and season two was kind of like for me, but like I loved this latest
The
season.
characters are
So
fun. The characters are fun to see because that's why.
it is really. And when I watched the first season of Squid Game, I went down like this whole like starting to watch stuff from other countries type of thing. And so like I actually watch quite a bit of subtitled stuff
I'll send you
now.
some
Um,
recommendations after the show, which are Indian made Hindi ones, and they're really, really good.
oh,
Okay.
okay, yeah. No,
Yeah.
let me see if I can find it here really quick. I created I went down the Indian rabbit hole and now it's let me see what it is. Like RRR, Dangle,
Yeah, yeah,
Yuri, Strike, all these. I love all these
yeah.
movies. And
Unbelievable.
so yeah, I have a whole list on IMDb that I've created that I've it's crazy how much good stuff. Like I was always so focused on the US, bubble Hollywood
Yep.
stuff. And
Yep.
like
Yep.
once I
Yep.
went down the Bollywood route, I was like, wow, there's so much great content here.
Yes,
So
absolutely. My co-founder Ryan, he's a big fan of Indian Bollywood music, more than me also. He
yeah.
watches cricket. I don't even watch cricket. I'm an Indian. I'm Indian ethnicity. I'm supposed to like cricket. I don't even like cricket. A- Anyways, and a final one, $100 million in your bank tomorrow. No questions asked. What will you do? No questions
Well,
asked.
what will I do?
The first thing which you'll do.
That's the tough one.
I know.
Like you said, I'm a workaholic, like you said. So like
Yeah.
I would keep working for sure, but I would definitely slow things down a lot.
Mm, mm.
And I would definitely do some of my hobbies more for sure. I love biking. Mountain biking is one thing I really like. So I would
Awesome.
definitely go outside a lot more than I am right now.
So if I visit you, can you help me hire a bike and do mountain bike? That's on my
Probably,
to-do list. That's on my
probably, yeah.
list.
But yeah, I'm not a big traveler, so I don't, I'm not one of those people that would like, go travel the world type of thing. Like that
Yeah.
just doesn't interest me. So like, honestly, it would just slow down my life. That'd be one thing I would definitely do. Money.
It's how it's your $100 million. You can do whatever you
Yeah.
like.
Yeah. Maybe buy a new house. I don't know. Something like that.
Anyways, thank you so much for being on my show. It was great having you. Thank you for enlightening us on Perf Matters, and I wish you all the best. Thank you so much.
Okay, yeah, thanks for having me.
Thank you. Bye.